So I start by weighing out 500 grams of bread flour. Then I weigh out 195 grams of cold water. And then I weigh out just 5 grams of liquid potassium carbonate. Plus 5 grams of kosher salt. So after everything's dissolved, I very, very slowly add the liquid into the flour mixture. It's very important that this is added slowly, so take your time with this step. At this point, once all the liquid has been added, I start to rub the dough between my hands to make sure all of the flour comes in contact with the moisture. I cover and let it sit for about a half hour. After a half hour, I put it into a Ziploc bag and I will knead it using my feet because it is such a stiff, dry dough. I didn't film that part though. So here I am just pressing out the air so that it's in the shape of a rectangle and in the shape of a bag. And off camera, I'm going to knead it with my feet inside of a paper bag. After a little bit of effort and letting it rest, I also used a rolling pin to help push it into the shape of a rectangle because that's what we'll need when we start wanting to cut the noodles. After another short rest, I take it out of the Ziploc bag and put some potato starch on it so that it doesn't stick to the pasta machine when we cut it. A little extra roll so it fits through the widest setting of the pasta roller. Then I'm cutting the dough sheet into rectangles that are slightly smaller than the width of the pasta roller, just to account for the increase in width that the dough will go through after it's been rolled a couple times. And just to make sure we're not too hard on the pasta roller, I'm going to roll it out just a little thinner by hand to make sure that it can fit through the widest setting because it's still pretty thick at this point. Then we send the pasta sheet through the widest setting on the pasta roller, and in doing this, you can also take the dough. I used a little bit of water in a spray bottle, fold it over on itself, and send it through again, even a few times. And this is called laminating the dough. I don't think you have to do this, but I do think it makes the noodles chewier, so I did do that. Just using a rolling pin to help it stick to itself a little bit before sending it back through. And after doing that a few times, you then put it through the spaghetti cutting attachment and it creates these nice noodles. I sped the video up here a little bit. I have the KitchenAid speed pretty low because this is such a thick, dry dough. Then taking more potato starch so the noodles don't stick to each other, and making sure lots of the noodles have contact with the potato starch, and then putting them in a Ziploc bag. They can keep in the Ziploc bag for almost like a week or so in the fridge, or you could freeze them or cook them right away.